Hello, my friends, and welcome to another episode of Daily Dose of Stupid. Today, Jujutsu Fruit had a lot of comments. A lot of comments. And funnily enough, as it turns out, when you make fun of a game that a shitload of people are playing, and then people outside of your, core audience see it, they're, not thrilled about it. So we have a bit of a mega episode here, where the first, 2 comments are from, I think, some random assorted videos that I probably won't remember, and then everything else is Jujutsu Fruit, because Jesus Christ. Anyways, we start with an idiot from my Discord DMs, because this is just, so fantastic, I couldn't not put it on here. I just couldn't. They sent 2 DMs. The first was at 10:03 a.m., and it says, "Hey man, I was just wondering, do you read all of the comments on all your videos?" Which might be the most outrageous thing I've ever seen anybody say when it comes to my channel, and I've seen a lot of shit. So before we even move on, none of you out there think that I read every single comment in every single video, right? That's not a real thing that people think happens, right? This is like an alien, maybe, perhaps, that's sending me a message. Do you know how long that would take? There are hundreds of videos on my channel. There are hundreds of thousands of people sifting through hundreds of different of my videos every day. Someone probably just left a comment right now on a video that I made 2 years ago. Do you think that I saw it? No, of course I didn't. That's impossible. There is nobody, I repeat, nobody on the entire planet that does YouTube for a living that reads every comment on every video they make, including all of the ones that they've made in the past every time someone leaves a comment. Nobody does that. Zero. Literally zero. And then I guess it lived rent-free in their heads because several hours later at 8:02 p.m. at night, they come back and they say, "I see lots of people commenting, but you don't respond." You don't respond. You don't respond. Yep. Okay. All right. Do I even need to address this? Do I read all of the comments? No. Do I read most of the comments? No. Do I respond to all the comments? Obviously not. Otherwise, you would be able to see responses to all the comments. If I looked at and responded to every comment, I would never make videos, because that's all I would do. That it would take that long. That's impossible. This next one is hilarious because, well, they watched the video and then still somehow came away from it with selective hearing, I guess. It says, "This guy really claims he makes videos for the money and then cries when a video he wanted to make isn't received the best. Wild." This has to be one of the dumbest takes I've read. It has to be. It's up there for sure. So yeah, I make videos for money because it's my job. This is my job. I have to do it in order to make money. I could do different jobs, but this is the one that the world has gifted me, so I continue to do it. I enjoy my job. That being said, there are times when I want to make videos that I know will not succeed. This is the thing that I said in the video that you're currently commenting on. I don't remember which video it is, but I am 100% certain that in the video I made mention of the fact that I knew the video that I was making would not be well received. But I made the video that I knew would not be well received because I was passionate about the video and I wanted to make it. That means that, in essence, it wasn't part of my job. It was a passion project, and that's why I put it together. And do I want videos that I don't think are going to do well? Of course I do. Why the fuck would I not want that to happen? But that being said, if I know a video's not going to do well, and then it doesn't do well, I'm not whining about it. I said I knew it wouldn't do well. I knew before I put it out. If I did go and go, wah, what was me? This video that I put out that I knew wouldn't do well, didn't do well, wah. Oh, I don't know, I did 2 years ago? You ever notice that I stopped doing that because it was stupid? No, clearly you didn't, because you're the stupid one now. I was the stupid one then, you're the stupid one now. Sorry, not sorry. Now we get to start on Jujutsu Fruit. And the first stupid on here is less of a stupid on the players and more of a stupid on the developers and their administration team and staff, because this is just like, it's so funny. I won't read through the entire thing, so I'm just probably gonna throw up most of these screenshots on the screen so you can read it yourself if you so choose. But this is just hysterical. So the Cliff Notes version of what happened to this person and the reason that they're so pissed off is because, in essence, they were trying to trade around on the game and they ran into somebody who invited them to join some sort of black market, you know, like real money trading stuff, things that's against Roblox TOS. You're not allowed to do that. So when that happened, they decided, well, you're not supposed to do that. I'd better go report this to an admin because I foolishly believe in the greater good, and I think that these people will, you know, actually do something about this black market. So what did the person that they contact do? What did they do? They banned them. They banned the guy reporting the black market. You can't be serious, right? Like, you're so lazy that you can't be bothered to actually deal with the problem. So instead, you ban the guy who brought the problem to you and said, hey, here's the problem. What problem? Blah, 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 blah. I don't see a problem. Blah, blah, blah. And this is a good point for me to talk about all of the false ban nonsense, or more specifically, not talk about all of the false ban nonsense, because I don't know shit about it still, other than this one specific person. There were a bunch of rumors going around about people getting falsely banned, and do you guys honestly think that I care if people are getting falsely banned from a game that I think is a piece of shit and I don't think you should be playing anyway? If anything, good if you get falsely banned. Maybe it'll make you go play an actually good game instead of this piece of shit. If you got falsely banned, think of it as like an omen from above that you should be playing something else and not this piece of shit. Thanks in advance. Now, the other big thing that I think I need to address when it comes to the whole Jujutsu Fruit thing is a lot of people were not happy with the take that I had about testers. Now, this is something that I could not have known when I was making the video. I could have assumed it, but I don't think it's safe to assume it. And I also don't think that the take is entirely wrong, seeing as I guarantee you that there were a ton of people that bought into the testing and never reported a single bug, never did any sort of real testing, and just wanted to play it early because that's exactly what it was. If anything, it's the people who actually bought into this and thought that they would actually be testers that are kind of moronic, because of course that wasn't gonna work out. They didn't actually care what you had to say, they just wanted your money. Like, come on, guys. That being said, there were a lot of people floating around a number about how apparently they made $1 million before the game even came out, and if that's true, well, that's sad. Don't know if I have anything else to say about that other than it's depressing. But regardless, there were a lot of people that made the claim that the testers themselves were not the problem, and the game developers simply ignored tester feedback completely, put themselves into an echo chamber, and anytime anyone said anything negative about the game, they were immediately shunned and shut out, because clearly this game was the second coming of Christ, and if you disagreed with that, then you were a fucking traitor, I guess. I don't know. And this is something I 100% believe the people saying it, not only because there were a lot of people saying it, but also because a lot of you may or may not know this, but I've gone through this before. There was a point in time where I was a tester for a Universal Time, or AUT, and this is pretty much exactly what I went through. I tested a whole bunch of stuff, did my job, reported things, and did they get fixed? No, they got ignored for updates and updates and updates at a time, and I had to go absolutely above and beyond in order to try to get things that were game-breaking fixed before the updates launched, and oftentimes they would get fixed like a week before it actually happened, which is not enough time to properly make sure things work. And this is somebody who was working directly on a small team of testers who had direct and constant contact with the developers of the game. Now, if we looked at this from a perspective of a shitload of people that all have the tester role because they paid their way in, of course they got ignored, because they don't give a shit what you have to say. They want your money, you stupid pay pig. There, I said it again. The next one's just pretty funny. It says, bro is so crybaby and lazy that he whining about the chest rotate, you have to click them skull, stop raging, and get off Roblox. Oh, man. You know, you could have maybe, perhaps, done some introspection about how the fact that the chest system maybe wasn't very good, and that's why I brought it up. I saw a lot of people being like, Eclipse, that's a nitpick, that you're nitpicking about the chests. But if the nitpick, put it in quotes, nitpick is true, then it's still a problem. It doesn't matter if it's a nitpick or not. It's still true. What exactly was untrue about the things that I said, Mr. Bro is so crybaby and lazy? What did I say that was untrue? Anything? Don't think so. How about this guy? Bro is hating on games with no reason, skull, 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 skull. He comments on the video where I spend the entire video listing the reasons why I'm hating. Why would you comment that? I loved this one. It might have been my favorite. And it was about the bosses and the difficulty of the game. This person says, the arguments that bosses are way too easy is genuinely brain dead. When you grind bosses, you run them on the highest difficulty, where the attacks like the iframe AoE attack from the finger bearer nearly one-shots you. You have to go out of your way to dodge its attacks. And there's so many things wrong with this. I guess we'll just start from a random point. Number one, when you're farming bosses, was I farming a boss? Already you failed. No, I wasn't farming a boss. I was fighting the boss as the introduction to boss fights. And if your introduction to a boss fight is stand there, press all the buttons, and don't dodge any attacks, that's bad design. Like, I don't know what else to tell you about that. There are plenty of games where they introduce you to boss fights, and the actual boss fight is, oh, I don't know, a boss fight and not just button mashing? But no, apparently that's too high of a standard for these people. Now, that being said, I did enjoy the myriad of comments about the quote-unquote nightmare boss fights and how unfair they were. Therefore, my criticism about the boss fights being too easy is invalid. So let's just get this 100% clear. When you're playing through the game and they introduce you to boss fights, it is the easiest thing in the world and you can't lose. And then later, when you have to fight the bosses in order to grind them, you play it on nightmare mode, where you get killed in one shot. So the bosses are poorly designed at the start, and the bosses are poorly designed at the end. Unless, of course, you think that getting one shot by the boss with a giant AoE attack, or an auto-tracking attack, or one of the many other things that people have cited in the comments is also good design. Which, if that's the case, God help you. But seriously, the fact that you invalidated yourself within the very first sentence is impressive to say the least. There's another one on here like this, but this one is a bit more tame than the other one, but they were both funny, so I put it on here anyway. This person decided to comment 2 in a row, and I can't help but feel like it's probably bait, but it might not be. It might just be an 8-year-old. I don't know. But they say, nah, you suck, newbie. You just don't like it. Just stop yapping. And then they decided that that actually wasn't enough. So they came back to the comment section again to go, blah, 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 lame. Blah, 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 lame. I need to start using that, like, on the regular. Anytime I get a comment that I don't like, it should be blah, 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 lame! Fucking hell. Okay, but here's the cream of the crop. This is just, like, the very definition of rent-free. So, I left the numbers at the end of this person's name just so that way you could see it's the same person. I promise I didn't edit this. This is all one comment after another where they just kept coming back. They kept coming back. They couldn't help themselves. So the first one is about the capture missions. It says, for the capture missions, well, you're actually supposed to defeat the cursed spirit instead of just sit, since the more you kill, more spawn and the more XP you'll get. So bro, if you're actually just sitting there and doing nothing, you're losing XP, and I know this thus is somewhat a game that took a long, but bugs are to be expected, like the flipball button. By now it's fixed. Maybe the problem is the testers, but the game in itself is good, and the reason why boss fights AE easy, it's cause they're on easy mode. They're supposed to be easy. Try the boss 2 levels higher. Holy run on. Okay, we love those. Now, this by itself is a little bit innocent, if not wrong, considering the fact that if you do decide to fight all of the cursed spirits during the capture mission, the amount of XP that you get extra is negligible. I know because I tested it myself, and then when I decided to go make the video, I figured it really wasn't important enough to put in, and it also kind of ruined the joke about the whole capture mission bit, so I just didn't bother. But that being said, if you actually go in and calculate the amount of XP you get for fighting the enemies, it barely matters, and you might as well walk away. Let's just be real here. Never mind the fact that if you do damage to any of the enemies and then they die because of the thing ending, you also seemingly get a bunch of XP. So presumably, don't quote me on this, the capture mission could have been about to finish. You could jump down, hit all the enemies with an AoE, and then it ends, and you get all of the XP. So no matter how you slice this, you're defending the fucking capture missions. If you're defending the capture missions, you're already a lost cause. Come on. Now, I guess they decided that they weren't sure if the comment that they sent actually sent, because then they decided to copy paste the comment that they sent, which I'm not entirely sure how they did that if they didn't think it sent in the first place. So maybe they wrote this out on like a different document, or maybe they just figured that I needed to see it twice. Who knows? But they posted the exact same comment, exact same run-on sentence, exact same typos. Verbatim, all, again. I don't know why. Then they decided to come back later and go, but the flip all button works. What are you talking about? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I was talking about the fact that when I played it, the flip all button didn't work. And time passes. I don't know if you've known this, but actually, like, when you wait and then time passes, time has passed. I know that probably sounds absurd, maybe ridiculous to you, but time is a concept, it's real, and as time passes, things change. I know. So there's a chance, hear me out here, that when I made the video, the flip all button did not flip all the cards. And later on, they fixed it. And now, perhaps, don't know, not gonna check, don't care, the flip all button does work. So maybe if you got it through your head that time exists, this would have solved for you, but let's be real, no, that time is not a concept that you understand because you're probably a max level in this game, so time means nothing to you. And then I guess they felt the need to make the same comment that I just responded to earlier that 100 people also sent that still doesn't make sense, but they say, the bosses are hard when they're not in easy mode, try other levels of bosses. All right, well I've already explained that. But then I guess they weren't sure if that one sent either, because then they sent the exact same comment again saying, the bosses are hard when they're not in easy mode, try other levels of bosses, smiley face. So maybe they wanted the smiley face the first time, but they missed the smiley face. So they were like, I could edit my comment, but no, I'm actually gonna go leave another one. What the fuck? Yeah, I'm not entirely sure if it's sane behavior to be leaving like 5 comments, all one after the other, with 2 of them being clones of each other, but like, what do I know about being sane? I'm clearly not. I keep playing these shitty games. I love this. These are my favorites. There's tons of them on every single video that I make about Roblox games where people don't like them. Every single one, bar none, and I will never not find them funny. I will never not put them in Daily Dose of Stupid. Like, I don't necessarily disagree, but I think you need to get a job. Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him? Royal JD will tell him. All right, you got it, Royal JD. It's his job, lad. Instead of commenting on someone doing his job, maybe it's time for you to get a John. No, not you, Royal JD. No, come on. Royal JD, Royal JD, whatever the hell your name is, I'm so sorry. Why didn't you edit this? Why didn't you edit this? You put yourself on the same level as that guy. No! Well, anyways, to the commenter who's a fucking idiot, the video you just watched was my job. In fact, that video probably made more money than all of the videos I've put together in the last month. So, who's laughing now? I think. In terms of people who disagree with me, this person says that 400,000 people disagree with me. 400,000, huh? Well, that's unfortunate. It must be even more unfortunate that that doesn't look like 400,000 people anymore. In fact, that looks like the player base has plummeted It's lost 3/4 of its players about in just a week. So, 400,000, huh? I think this one's funny because the date is actually correct. Like, I took this comment on the same day that I'm looking at the player counts, which means that this person could have looked at it, but they chose not to. They just chose to be wrong. This comment is just like, the bait would have worked. The bait would have worked. And I'm putting it on here anyway because I just want some of the people to see the kind of bait that I'm dealing with. But the bait would have worked if you didn't out yourself with the Eclipse of the Clown thing, because nobody who wasn't baiting would have even known about that whole bit. Anyways, they say, your entire content is literally hating on normal games, yet you be making fun of this game calling it a bandit beater like Jujutsu Fruit. And it's not called bandit beating, it's called PvE, Eclipse the Clown. You expect every single game, period, to be a whole ass Elden Ring Deep Woken styled parrying game, fighting game. So I know it's bait because of the Eclipse the Clown thing, and I was so close. You had me in the first half. I was like, there's no way this guy is so stupid that he thinks that I'm against PvE content, because I'm the same person who has gone on record saying that I think that the sort of title of bandit beater is dangerous to use. And I think I made mention of this in, was it the Lenestra video? No, it wasn't that one. It was the Devis of Creation, that's the video, where people were saying it was a bandit beater, and I was like, well, I'm not entirely sure that we should be throwing that term around. I don't even know if Jujutsu Fruit counts as a bandit beater necessarily, because, I mean, some of the objectives are literally stand still and don't move until you win. That's like on a lower plane almost. Anyways, with the funny bait comment out of the way, we have some positive comments from people on the video because some of you guys killed it. Like Credis, who says, crazy how you keep reviewing Souls RNG. It is funny how that works out. How many times have I reviewed Souls RNG in the last year? That's weird. Maybe if people would stop making Souls RNG games, I would stop having to bring it up, but they just can't help themselves. This was one of those, they almost had me in the first half kind of moments. It's from Obaza, and they say, as a person who has gone to level 300, I respectfully disagree. The game is not Jujutsu Fruit, it's Blox Kaisen. You know what? Fair enough. I'll fight you on it, though. Jujutsu Fruit is clearly superior than Blox Kaisen. Now, this last thing on here is the kind of thing that continues to give me hope. The reason that I keep doing what I'm doing. It's very similar to some of the developer comments that I've seen before, but this is just someone being sort of self-aware, and we always appreciate that here. It's from Cursed Speech, and they say, as much as I wanted to come into here and at least refute any argument you made, I can't. I was very excited for this game because it seemed to be different. If you looked at any other Jujutsu Kaisen game, you would either find a Battlegrounds game or one that has nothing in it. Jujutsu Infinite had so much potential. It looked like it was willing to be something better than every other game, and I'll say a lot of the concepts for what they added is very cool and unique, but that's it. The concept was interesting, but then they reached for the money. I'm still pretty delusional in thinking that it might get better if they have enough people complain, so if the devs see the video, I pray that it makes them want to improve, because they're so close to something at least decent, but it will either take a long time or just never happen. Anyway, that's enough rant from me, but thanks for making the video. I usually don't enjoy you tearing into games on Roblox, but this one is hopefully going to be eye-opening for people who were dumb enough to hold on after the launch. And I think it was for a fair amount of people. And I think I did add fuel to a fire that was already there while lending voices to people that may otherwise not have had them. Because had I not made the video and made a whole big shitstorm about it, there definitely would have been plenty of people that were upset. There definitely would have been people who made videos about it, but I don't think any of them would have been as widely received as mine, and I think that that's something that really can't be understated. This is something that a lot of people have seen now, and for even the most staunch defenders of the game, they need some sort of opposition force, you know, so that way it's not just an echo chamber the entire time. And I totally get where the people are coming from, the people who have this, like, deep down hope that maybe they'll make the game better, because that was literally me for YBA for so long, where the game was just a big old pile of shit, and I really, really wanted it to stop being a big old pile of shit, and they just wouldn't do it. And it was a false hope for a long time. YBA, thankfully, in the recent few months has improved substantially and may finally be getting, you know, the respect that it deserved years ago. It might be too little too late now, but even still, I get this mindset, and I feel you for the people who want this to be good. The thing is that I myself can't ever be on your side, and that sucks, and I know that sucks, but I will never be on your side, and that stems from the fact that these developers are just the lowest scum on the planet. They are the worst. Sorry, not sorry. They went from making one of the best games on the platform to making just a big old pile of shit unapologetically. They ignored all of the people saying that the game had problems in exchange for having a whole bunch of yes men around them. They are just the worst. And because they are just the worst, I cannot support them in any capacity. I can't. They would have to, like, pull a No Man's Sky with this game in order for me to have any respect for them ever again, because it is gone. Anyways, that was the last thing on here, so I'm wrapping up. If you did enjoy the video, you can leave a like and subscribe. If you didn't, don't. And with all that being said, have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you guys next time.